Welcome back to Consciousful Tarot. It's Francesca. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, I'm a Clarisentient tarot reader and a Reiki healer. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, and if you like the video at the end, go ahead and click that like button. Today's video is going to be a psychic love reading for Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes, part 4. At last, my friends. Thank you guys so much for waiting, as I have had a busy week, but it's better late than never, right? Okay, guys, so before I begin, I do want to say a few things. So there was a lot of resistance to make this video because there is a lot of resistance right now in their connection. But I also do want to mention that I'm on the road to 1,000. If you guys can potentially help me get to 1,000 as quick as possible, I will be making update videos bi-weekly. So right now I do update videos on the celebrities once a month, just to allow the energy to transpire. However, I'm willing to do bi-weekly updates once I get to 1,000. So that's a promise I'm just wanting to give to you guys. So if you guys do really want bi-weekly updates, let's get to 1,000. So let's go ahead and get it started. First, I'm gonna go ahead and start what's happening with them, what's the current energy between Shawn and Camila, and then I'm gonna go individually how they're each thinking and feeling about each other and what's happening, how they're feeling, what's going on. Okay guys, so before I began, I had like a major throat chakra blockage as I started to cough out of nowhere. So that explains that. Okay guys, so 1 second. Okay, by the way, I want to thank you guys so much for the part 3. It got over 16,000 views. You guys have broke the record, and I'm just super content and super happy that you guys like the video and the content I'm sharing. Okay, so currently Shawn and Camila right now to this date, which today is the 9th of September, they are not in communication. They were recently in communication, possibly at the end of August, okay? But I'm seeing currently right now they're not, okay? And I'm gonna get to the details in a few. But currently what's happening, the energy between them and what's affecting them right now is that they're at a space where their feelings and self-worth is needing to be nurtured. They're needing to find a resolution to their conflicts and overcome the way that they're adhering to their culture, okay? The way that they're adhering to their identity and the way that they present themselves to society. So there's a major aspect of them needing to value their principles, value their feelings, but by pushing their identity and what other people say to a side. And that's what's kind of getting in between them right now. They're also at a space where they're under mental lockdown. I'm seeing both of them feeling a lot of fatigue, especially in the feet. So there can be lack of movement in the feet, and especially in the pituitary gland, which most of you guys probably don't know what that is, but it's a gland in the brain that is responsible for like movement. And point is that both of them are like kind of like stuck right now, in the sense when it comes to like making decisions, even traveling. There's an aspect of them not wanting to travel, canceling certain things, canceling agreements, meetings, settlements. This is because the connection, what's happening right now is that the soul contract, divine is trying to put them together, but there's too much deception, there's too much facade, there's too much repetitive continuation of the similar patterns, and they keep trying to address their past with the same behavior that is continuing to fail. So now I am seeing they're both in the sense at a space where they're wanting to value their feelings, okay? They're also wanting to secure this connection, but it has come to the point where there needs to be a shift of perspective, a shift on how to approach communication, how to approach the attitude, right? Their attitudes towards each other is a huge emphasis on why there keeps being a failure of reconciliation. Now, I am seeing right now they're at a space where the soul contract is being activated and they're kind of being pushed to come together other connections are not working out whatsoever. So if Shawn is trying to date other females, it's not working out. He's not emotionally fulfilled. His feelings aren't being valued, or his feelings aren't being fulfilled. Camila as well. Camila's at a space where she's very possessive over her heart being fulfilled and her needs being fulfilled on an emotional level, and they're not being fulfilled where she's at. So they're at a space where they're learning to expand their mindset so they can push their pride to the side and be confident to find a resolution together. So I am seeing them feeling a little bit heated, a lot of anxiety, because there's a lot of interferences right now, a lot of deception. Okay, I am seeing Camila being in contact with Shawn's family members, and then Shawn being in contact with Camila's inner circle. So Shawn is not in contact with Camila's family, but he's in contact with her inner circle. So it can potentially be a Sagittarius I'm picking up, or one of her female friends. And I am seeing that people around them are kind of like, in a way, making it feel that reconciliation will be okay, but everyone around them is picking up that like they really need each other, they really miss each other. They're both mirroring each other's energy to the point it's like they're almost going through the same thing. You know, they're canceling meetings, they're not traveling, they're feeling fatigue, they're staying more at home, they're not so much on social media. I'm seeing both Shawn and Camila are actually keeping tabs on each other on social media, because right now, since their last communication wasn't successful, they're utilizing the access towards their social media as a way to kind of hold on to each other, right? Because they're feeling very lost as to what's going to happen. So they're keeping a close eye on each other's social media, but it's also in a way reinforcing their insecurities, reinforcing these mind games. Because instead of being direct or finding a solution one-on-one, they're relying on what they're seeing on social media. So there's still a major aspect of there being a facade, which is causing delays in their reconciliation. Now, I am seeing some people in Camila's life trying to find mediation between her and Shawn. Okay, right now Shawn's emotions are very heightened, and Camila's emotions are at a space where she's not wanting to ignore her heart's desires. She's very fed up with putting up a wall. She's also very fed up with like feeling as though she could kind of like replace Shawn. And she's at a space where she's wanting Shawn to prove herself to him, and Shawn is wanting Camila to also subside the option so he could prove himself to her. So I hope you guys are catching on. They're at a space where they're also spending a lot more time with family as a way to ease this fatigue, because a lot of what's coming up for them potentially is like health issues. It's like low energy, lethargic energy, things like that. They're at a space where spirit is pushing them both to adhere to the philosophy and the belief system regarding this connection. So they're really connected to the belief about this connection. So whether it's like they believe they're soulmates or twin flames, they're getting that belief reinstalled in their mind again, and it's helping them break that pattern of abandoning each other, of neglecting each other when things get hard. But there is a major aspect of there being a lot of stagnation. Now moving forward, I'm seeing after the 14th, okay guys, and it's crazy because okay, so this is the full moon in Pisces. In one of the next cards I have is the full moon in Pisces, and tomorrow's the full moon in Pisces, which is really significant. So what I was gonna say is that past the 14th, I am seeing there being a commencement of them stopping avoiding this connection. So they're going to begin to potentially make movement. I do potentially see by the 20th there being effective communication this time around. This time around, I am seeing them potentially meeting up in a place. I am seeing them meeting up in a place, guys. So give me one moment as I confirm that place, because I am picking up a strong location right now, and I just want to get some accuracy. But while I pick up on this location, my friends, I do want to say that right now they're at a space where they're really wanting to be very private about their issues. They're really wanting to prioritize their privacy, and they're really wanting to overcome their insecurities. So they're making agreements to release the facade. They're wanting to bring love into the situation. They're realizing that there's no looking back at the past. They can't come into communication by looking back at the past, because they're only going to fall into this one-sided dynamic where they both feel as though the other person's being self-absorbed, right? Where they both feel as though the other person doesn't care about each other. There's too much vanity that has been in between them that has caused heartbreak that's being suspended at this moment. So I am seeing divine assisting them on tranquilizing their perspective so they can ease the anxiety, overcome the runner dynamic, and they can come forward to really do what's right for them, do what's right to protect the connection, to bring stability. So it's going to require for Camila to suspend her options, suspend her facade, and suspend this dynamic or this attitude of her kind of like displaying to Shawn that she doesn't need him, or that she's forgetful and tempered. And it's going to take for Shawn to actually step up to the plate, but he's literally waiting for evidence that's going to prove that Camila is no longer affiliated with other options. So that's what I'm seeing here. It's like divine is saying, okay, it's up to them, like free will. They're at a tug of war with free will and destiny right now. There's a major tug of war with free will and destiny. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm the location, and let's go ahead and see how Shawn is thinking and feeling about Camila. Okay, star friends, so let's go ahead and see how Shawn is thinking and feeling about Camila. So I almost kind of cried before I began this, because he is very emotional, extremely sensitive. Right now his heart chakra and his solar plexus is being affected heavily. He is very sensitive, guys, at this time. I mean, it's pretty extreme. And let's go ahead and get it started. So he's at a space where he is trying to suspend the narrative that he tells himself as to why this can't work out. The recklessness when it comes to reacting emotionally, and suspending his entire life over the crippling anxiety when it comes to the uncertainty of where this connection is going. Shawn's reality is changing a lot, because he's going through a sudden wake-up call where he's realizing that he needs to show face. In the recent communication between him and Camila, it was very clear that he was still wearing a facade. She was still wearing a facade, right? But I am seeing in this recent communication, it seems as though he was still putting up a front, and he has so much regret, because he was just like, why couldn't I tell her that I care? Why couldn't I tell her that I want to fight for her? Why couldn't I tell her that I love her? You know, because what he's missing right now the most is their friendship, is their soul connection that just really uplifts him, and their romantic connection that makes him feel like himself, that reminds him of his strength, that reminds him of his power. It seems as though he's trying to access Camila's divine feminine energy so he can restore his voice. It seems that that's what's happening. And it seems as though right now, oh, excuse me, sorry about that. Rocky, So it seems as though, okay, my dog barking is kind of just emphasizing what I just said, but it seems as though Shawn is realizing that he needs to have a deeper awakening, and that's what's happening. He's having a deeper awakening of not excessively indulging in this perspective that clashes with his heart, because he has this perspective where like, oh, this connection with her is forbidden, it's a tragedy, it's always gonna end up in her and I fighting and her and I getting revenge on each other. And he's at a space where he's actually now being forced to completely stop this way of thinking, because right now what's happening is that his perspective is being shattered and he's going through a massive wake-up call, because it seems as though the more he tries to access Camila's energy, Camila's attention, the stronger he becomes, the more inspired he becomes, the more vitality he gets. And he's at a space where his dreams are so vivid, guys. He's having crazy dreams when it comes to like Camila not caring, and she's like very far away from him and he's like trying to grab her. You know, I am seeing there's a lot of psychological rewiring happening in Shawn's psyche that's helping him understand that he needs to turn the wheel when it comes to his philosophy. Okay, it seems as though he has been numbing the situation, not being practical when it comes to finding solutions, and just over analyzing on a logical way that has been hampering a resolution with Camila. You know, obviously Camila is numbing the situation and pretending she doesn't care, which is making Shawn feel worse. But he's at a space where he's also realizing he can't fake it either. He can't pretend either. He can't just approach her trying to scold her or trying to get answers, when in reality he also has been running from the situation. So he's at a space where he's like, he can't be narrow-minded anymore. You know, it's like he's been tripping off his way of thinking, and now it's like divine is pushing him off of that, because it's also like the options he could have had, not only are they no longer fulfilling, but he's also realizing that these people almost try to mimic, and maybe they don't do it on purpose, but they try to mimic Camila. And it makes Shawn's laugh. It makes him laugh, because he's just at a space where he's like, there is no way I'm replacing her. There is no way I can continue to just fake it, to pretend, to try to find a friendship or this romantic partner elsewhere. So Shawn is completing a vital lesson when it comes to no longer in a way being cunning, or in a way suspending his emotional needs. And he's at a space where he's practicing an efficient way to communicate so there can be a proper reconciliation. Okay, that's why I'm seeing him in contact with Camila's inner circle, specifically a female. Okay, and this person is helping him sober up to the idea of reconciling with Camila, but for Shawn not to hesitate to express his needs, for Shawn not to hesitate to reveal that he longs for Camila emotionally. This friend is trying to motivate and create some sort of enthusiasm in Shawn's mentality that he should really express his heartfelt truths, and that's what's really going to help Camila, you know, make her decision, reconsider what she's doing. And I am seeing that now Shawn is at a space where he's like not listening to the mind, not listening to the stories he tells himself, not listening to the discord or the excessive clashing of perspective, and he's at a space where he's meditating more. Okay, guys, he's no longer wanting to ignore his intuition. That's why he's very sensitive, because he's tuning in. Okay, he's completing a vital lesson of allowing the ego mind to control his actions in the relationship with Camila. He's no longer operating in the sense where like the connection is one-sided, and he's no longer operating in the sense where he feels as though Camila needs to love bomb him in order for him to feel validated or safe for him to come forward. So this is making him go through a lot of anxiety and panic, but it's also giving him a lot of faith that the situation is going to improve. And here with the dolphins, this actually represents friendship. It represents people you can trust. And that is this friend that I see that he's talking to. And the thing is that Shawn has felt like a victim for some time. Especially this summer, he has felt like a victim. And I'm not trying to say this to, you know, talk down on Shawn. I'm very objective when I'm speaking. I'm just saying that he has stemmed from like a martyrdom kind of perspective, and now he's kind of dropping that act. And the reason why is because he's suspending this perspective, the clashing perspective. And he's at a space where he's also wanting to avoid drinking. He's avoiding substance abuse. It's also because something potentially is happening with his liver. Guys, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Shawn, but I'm just saying he's really taking care of his health, okay? His third eye, his liver, okay? So it seems as though like he just doesn't want to drink right now. There's an aspect of him wanting to slow down, guys. So I am seeing he's very heightened right now, extremely heightened. And he's at a space where he is going through a lot of decisiveness. He's in this decision where he's like willing to sacrifice his facade, willing to sacrifice the need of seeking validation from Camila and not caring about the validation and just going for it, going towards meeting up with her. And I did want to confirm, I did want to confirm that they will potentially be meeting up in Massachusetts. So I did pick up Massachusetts, so particularly potentially Boston. But I am seeing that right now Shawn is a little bit lost on how he can approach this opportunity to Camila. So there is a lot of there's a lot of storm happening right now. There's actually a little physical storm happening. And Shawn is just going through the storm right now, but he's at a space where he feels as though luck is on his side, and the fact that he's getting support to come towards Camila and just express his heartfelt truths is helping him really have the courage to step up, have the courage, and divine is actually placing him in the right moment at the right time, communicating with the right people so he could actually interfere in Camila's life. So divine is going to be placing a divine intervention so Shawn can approach Camila, even though there is a lot of uncertainty of her options and all that stuff. So there is an aspect of Shawn ready to fertilize something new. He is still in planning mode there, but there is just still a lot of emotions that he needs to overcome. And he is inquiring a lot of information on what he should do, and this is helping him feel secure instead of him feeling as though he needs to put up a front. And as I said, he's connecting with his imminent environment and Camila's imminent environment, which is helping him make this decision and abort the old perspective. He's forgiving her, forgiving himself, and really stepping into a place where he's ready to chase, where he's ready to reconcile and spend quality time with her, communicate with her out of nowhere, and kind of invite her. So I am seeing potentially it can be Boston, guys, and potentially it may be around the 20th or past the 20th, in between that week. So let's go ahead and see how Camila's thinking and feeling. Sorry guys for the rain. Hey guys, so let's go ahead and begin how Camila Cabello is thinking and feeling about Shawn and what's going on with her. So before I begin, I did want to say that in the previous, when I was talking about how Shawn is thinking and feeling, the full moon and Pisces card came out, which is really significant because the full moon is tomorrow. And like how the storm came in and how like the dogs were interrupting. So it's just like really emphasizing how there is like a wake-up call happening in Shawn's life. And yeah, let's go ahead and get it started. So when I picked up on Camila's energy, I actually felt very calm, a little bit anxious, but like a wave of certainty, because I do see she is getting tarot readings. Okay, if you guys know Camila Cabello, go ahead and tell her to contact Consciousful Tarot. I'm just kidding, no, really. And then I was picking up on a song. I was channeling When You're Ready, Come and Get It by Selena Gomez. So like, when you're ready, come and get it. Na 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 na. That's kind of how Camila's thinking and feeling right now regarding the situation. So let's go ahead and get it started. And then I'm also going to get an update between her and Austin, what's happening between that, of course. Okay, so I am seeing for the past few weeks, Camila has been at a space where she really wants proof that this connection between her and Shawn is not negative, that they're able to let go of the negativity, they're able to let go of the toxic emotions that have been involving them in this excessive clash, right? And this inability to find resolution. So she's at a space where she's relying on the proof, right, that Shawn's going to show her in order to break her free from the blockages regarding expressing her heartfelt truths as well. So it's like they're both mirroring each other, really expecting one another to show their hands and express their emotions. She's at a space though where she is going through a massive transformation and deciding to let go of outcome, let go of feeling weighed down by this connection. She's at a space where she's also like feeling as though she's divided between two people. She feels as though she has a difficult decision to make, and there's a lot of opposition when it comes to facing her fear, because she doesn't want to be the first one to show her hand to Shawn. And then that's why she also has held on to Austin as a way to feel safe, as a way to feel love. But now she's realizing she can't lead Austin on, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But she's at a space where she's sitting on the fence and she feels divided, like her loyalty feels divided, torn between two relationships, but she also doesn't feel like it makes sense to continue with Austin. So she's at a space where she's understanding how her actions has reinforced and contributed to Shawn continue to run from the connection, and she's actually freeing herself from trying to feel safe in love, or safe when it comes to like not feeling this excessive mourning or this excessive alienation. And she's like sitting in the emotions, sitting in the sadness, and allowing it to flow through her and out of her. I am seeing her potentially knowing that Shawn is wanting to move, okay? And she's at a space where she's also wanting to move. I'm picking that up. So she's at a space where she's like, show me, reveal yourself. It's like she's wanting Shawn to confess, because in their last communication in the beginning of August, at the end of August, right, Shawn was still putting up a front. It's very clear that he was, because he was angry based off what he was seeing, and it reinforced a lot of toxic behaviors. But Camila's at a space where she's like, show me. And she's at a space where she's also realizing that she may need to harvest a new way of dealing with the healing, right? Like how she heals in this connection. She feels as though she needs to harvest a new mechanism, right? She has to develop a new protocol on how to cope with the situation, rather than having a fling or trying to replace him. So she's at a space where she's a little self-conscious of how she presents herself to the world. She doesn't want to appear as someone that is constantly like sleeping with men or dating men. So I'm seeing her prioritizing right now her physical appearance, and she's becoming excessively self-aware when it comes to coping with the hardships between her and Shawn. So the fact that she deals with options and things like that. The way that she's thinking and feeling about Shawn primarily is that she's feeling as though there is a major responsibility that he has to take. She's also at a space where she's very serious about needing to have proof, or wanting Shawn to pour her heart to her. She feels as though once he does this, she's going to be willing to compromise. She's going to end the lack of communication, and there's going to be a major improvement. Right now, though, she's at a space where she feels as though a little helpless. That's why I'm seeing her go to a tarot reader, because her faith in this connection has completely stagnated, and she has been focusing on the negative for the past few weeks. But this tarot reader or this psychic is telling her that if you really miss him, right, you're going to need to also not feel as though he needs to charm you or he needs to be the one to chase you. She's also being told that she can charm or use other people as a way to cope with her intense sadness. So Camila's going through a lot of grieving, a lot of regret right now as well. And she's realizing that she needs to make adjustments in how she's dealing with this in her entire love life. And she's paying attention to the details in the sense where she's reevaluating the entire situation. And she's trusting that by letting go of other people, it's going to make space for there to be balance and for there to create a solution of the issues that her and Shawn have, and they'll be able to literally hatch a new plan. And she's trusting in her intuition and what this person is saying, because in her heart it feels right. And because she's going through this sudden transition and this spiritual awakening, right? She's feeling very sensitive. Okay, 1 second. I'm seeing her prioritizing her physical appearance a lot. And she's just feeling very sensitive to the point where she's just wanting to trust her intuition as well. So they're both accessing their higher self. They're both at a space where they're accessing a higher dimension to get into contact. Their contact is going to go from the 5th dimension to the 3rd dimension, because right now there's a lot of telepathy happening between them. Now Camila is also stalking Shawn. She's at a space where she's focusing on seeing what Shawn's doing, realizing that what she's seen, okay, is actually proving to her that, okay, there can be a peaceful resolution, and she does need to move on from her option. She does need to move on from intimidating Shawn and creating mind games. So Camila is suspending this mind game, okay? And she's also now, her guilty conscience is also kicking in, guys. She's missing Shawn so much, guys. She's thinking about him. She's yearning him to the point where she's like willing to forgive him. She's at a space where she's getting herself back on track when it comes to allowing this connection to come back in. But that's why she's also allowing herself to release herself from someone else, aka Austin. And now she's releasing the control, and then she's realizing, okay, I need to close one door to open the door that I actually want open. So Camila is actually going through a lot of imagination. Like, she's now no longer glamorizing, trying to make Shawn feel defeated. Okay, guys, like sorry, that's like Camila's villain aspect coming out. So her villain aspect, right, of like wanting to retaliate or wanting to make him feel jealous to get him to move towards her, that part of her is kind of no longer having power over her. And she's in a way creating this idealism between her and Shawn. She has potential confirmation, okay, that Shawn is going to be contacting her within the next few days or weeks. And guys, I'm telling you, once again, she's at it again with the psychic. Because the thing is that Camila has been basing her worth off Shawn, basing her worth off the future of this connection. And the fact that she has missed him so much, she's seeking reassurance because she's scared to fully lose him, you know? And as much as she tried to like move on with someone else, there was many hidden motives as to why she was with Austin. But the major motive was to numb the situation between her and Shawn, and to also make Shawn jealous, like to create mind games so he could come forward. But now she's realizing that she doesn't want to do that, and she's at a space where she kind of knows that Shawn's gonna reach out. And yeah, like I am seeing that she's willing to forgive him, guys. She's willing to release the karma. She's willing to remove the negativity or those negative behavior patterns that have been contributing to their lack of compromise, to their miscommunication, to their self-sabotage, to the aggressive approach. And now she's realizing that, you know, Austin wasn't meant for her. And now she needs to face the uncomfortable feeling of making changes, of facing her shadow self. And she knows that it's going to take some time for her to work on her darkness and release this negativity, right, and stop that pattern. But I am seeing that she's doing this because she knows that that's going to be the solution for there to be proper reconciliation. So she's really altering her perception, and she's really reconsidering how she has behaved in the past, and she's realizing that era needs to come to an end, and that's what she's doing. So moving on to what's happening with her in Austin, I am seeing her denying invitations, her denying communication. Okay, it's like slowly but surely them ending communication. It's like he has been in denial. She has been trying to flee, and he has been in denial. She's been focusing on herself, taking time to heal, avoiding him. But I am seeing that literally within the next 48 hours, they're going to ghost each other. Like, potentially block each other. Potentially unfollow each other off social media. It's very clear I'm seeing a major blockage. Like, they're going to block each other. And it's been hard for Camila to end this because she's been codependent on wanting someone, wanting to numb the situation between her and Shawn, and also wanting to make Shawn jealous. But it seems as though the person that Shawn is talking to in Camila's inner circle is also telling Camila the stuff that Shawn is telling her. And Shawn is basically telling this friend that, hey, I don't feel comfortable expressing my truth if she's with someone else, or if she's pretending. And now that Camila knows, she's like, oh, my game plan is actually sabotaging the process. So now that's why it's been hard to move on from this. But now she's like trying to be very strategic with Austin and kind of like tell him, you know, like, hey, let's just be friends. And he's not going to take it lightly. So it's going to end up in kind of them blocking each other. I'm not going to lie. Because there's too much obsession from his end, from Austin's end. And because they kind of created this codependency, right? They got into this in a codependent way. It's going to end in a harsh manner, in the sense where there is blocking. But rest assured, Camila does feel a little bit self-absorbed and regretful for kind of like leading Austin on, but she's only in charge of her emotions, and she can only be in charge of herself. And she's at a space where she's really trying to eliminate that toxicity, potentially even trying to cleanse herself. Like, I'm seeing her going into the ocean, taking baths, really being in a space where she's like cleaning her aura, cleaning her spirit. So yeah, my friends, that's about it. As I mentioned, I do see them meeting up in Boston after the 20th. So if you guys like the reading and you guys want a personal reading, go ahead to my website, consciousfultarot.com, or click on the link in the description below. I can do a health reading, a love and relationship reading, a career reading, spiritual and life path reading that will ultimately change your life, and I can give you guidance of a lifetime. I could also give you yes or no answers, and you could also catch me on Instagram and TikTok. And I also wanted to just end it with the fact that and this is not needed, I'm not like asking in a desperate way, but if you guys do want me to do bi-weekly updates on the celebrity readings, including Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes, help assist me in getting to 1,000. I'm on the road to 1,000. So once I get to 1,000, I will be doing bi-weekly updates. So the quicker I get, the quicker you will get the bi-weekly updates. So yeah, that's about it, my star friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family, and have a good one. Bye now.